Welcome, everybody. Yes, we are back. It has been a little bit of a hiatus. I was on vacation. People weren't feeling well. Jessica got stuck, I think, and you weren't feeling well. I think last time before that. No, when did you get stuck the second time? When's your second stick?
Oh, yeah, that was Monday.
Was it? Okay.
That was Monday, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, the first time was Monday. The second time was last week on Tuesday, I think. That was Tuesday.
So I wasn't kidding, by the way. I was like, when I said the second one got to me, it was no joke. I mean, it wasn't like super serious. It wasn't like it was like the flu, but it did. I did notice it. I mean, I got chills, and it is definitely something that people should be aware of. By the way, I want to make sure that everybody can hear us real quick, because I had some technical problems last stream, but I have different. I also have different shows I do, so I do have to move things around in OBS. So I don't know if it was just a thing for a problem last time, or what it was, but hopefully that this won't have a problem. Yeah, I don't know why I had it for noon. I put 11 o'clock everywhere. That was just a mess up on my behalf. So I haven't really had much of my coffee yet, so forgive me. But can they hear us, Josh?
I'm not seeing anybody complaining that they can't hear me.
Well, that's good. Usually they complain when they can hear us. Yeah. So. But anyways, so yeah, we're gonna do another judgment call with open lines. However, we try to have these themes, right? We kind of have a theme about what we kind of like people to talk about. However, it doesn't matter. You can call in and talk about anything you want. You can ask us questions. We don't care. Pick a lane. That's all I say. Just pick a topic. Come talk to us. But I think we really wanted to kind of focus a little bit on mental wellness with this particular stream. But that doesn't mean you have to call in for that, obviously. But we'll talk about that before we put the phone numbers up. But Jess, there's a couple of reasons I think we wanted to talk about this, isn't there?
There's always lots of reasons to talk about anything, but mental wellness is taking care of yourself is really important, especially with all of the nonsense. There's been I don't know, it just feels like for 2 years it's just been a constant stream of garbage, just constant garbage. So it's important to be able to recognize and take a step back when you need to.
Hashtag gang stalking. I'm going to use that term quite frequently nowadays. I've always known that a lot of those people were gang stalkers. I've already, that's kind of obvious.
Yeah, we talked about that, I think, a year ago.
Right. We did a stream on gang stalking. So we were well aware that they're gang stalkers. However, I think they've upped their game to the point where everybody can recognize it now. Before, we were kind of like, hey, we kind of sound off by trying to explain gang stalking, which is a very difficult thing to explain to people that have never experienced it. But we have experienced it. We know that these people are gang stalking. We know that they manipulate stories and fabricate narrative to try to push views. And try to discredit people. That's what they've done for years. Okay,
then it's a matter of like, if you ignore them, they escalate until you can't ignore them anymore.
Right, exactly, and we knew that was going to happen. I mean, how many times have we said, look, if we just ignore these people, they're eventually going to reach a point where they're just going to kind of play their hands, say some stupid shit, and I think they actually have at this point. I mean, this whole cult narrative. I mean, even though I've got like weird backgrounds and stuff like that, this is all for show kind of stuff, but. Is it? Maybe not. Hey, maybe I should. A slight tangent here. Do you remember when I went on T-Spiracy's channel and I asked her whatever she could ask me whatever she wanted? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember.
So one of the questions I think was either I don't remember it was on the stream or on the comment section. I don't remember. It was a really great question, but I never got asked it. Maybe it was in the comment section, but nobody asked it, and I really wanted to answer that question because I have an answer for it. Ready for this? I'll tell you the question. Okay, so the question was, if you did form a cult, what would you call it?
Ooh, that is a good question.
And I have an answer to that.
Okay, you've been thinking about this.
Yes, I have been thinking about this. Ready for this?
All right. Yeah.
Gods Incorporated, motto is worship us or die.
Gods Inc.
Yeah, Gods Inc. Worship us or die. That's straight up. Just simple. No need no Bible.
Do you get theology. You gotta have like an image of a Pope version of Mike Wazowski.
Who the hell is that? You know all these names I don't know.
You don't know who Mike Wazowski is?
Wait, no, he's a computer guy. Is it? No, wait, no.
Oh,
Storyteller?
No.
Is he?
You think he's a real person?
No, who's Mike Wazowski? I know. The Wazowski brothers. Is that it? I don't know.
Wazowski?
I know who Minkowski is, but he was a physicist.
Mike Wazowski is a character from Monsters, Inc.
Okay.
Green eyeball guy.
I got it. Yes, I don't know all these references you do, man. I just don't. You know this. She thinks I'm kidding too. When I ask, like, who the hell is these people? I really have no clue.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes I think you're kidding, and then sometimes I'm like, oh no.
No, I'm not. No, I'm seriously not.
We've lost Steve, guys. He's gone. He's off in the weeds.
Is that okay? Makes sense. Gods Inc. Monsters Inc. I get it now. But no, I love that tagline. Just, you know what? Worship us or die. It's very simple, right? I mean, don't need the faith. Don't need.
One way is God. We scare because we care. Yes.
There you go. Works. Right. Exactly. I don't know, man. But I didn't get asked that. So
Mike was asking in a Pope outfit with a big Pope hat.
Do that. But anyways, it was just so funny because, like I said, that was one question I was kind of hoping I'd get asked, and I wasn't. But whatever. But yeah, so
That's a good question.
It's a great question. No, and I like I said, T-Spiracy did a really great job. She hasn't checked her Instagram afterwards, and I thanked her, and I added some more stuff for her to look at, but she hasn't looked at it yet. But yeah, no, she did a really great job. I mean, I guess it was only her first or second interview, and I kind of let her ask the questions she wanted to ask. But.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on her as a creator, like as at least not a trusted creator. I don't think I would.
That's earned over time. You know, that's
yeah, I don't think I trust that lady as far as I can throw her. But I'm not that familiar with her, so maybe if she didn't let people just steamroll all over her channel, now that could just be because she's not comfortable. That could be something like a learned thing over time. But
I think a lot of creators go through that, though, don't they? I mean, you get a lot of these people that come in and they're. Well, you're special, but you get a lot of content creators that don't know which way they want to go on the channel. Like I decided quite some time ago, I'm not going to let trolls come over and dictate how I run my channel. This is one of the things that pissed them off, right? Because I mean, for a fact, people have tried to tell me who I can and cannot have on, and they've done it to numerous content creators, and we just tell them to screw off. They tried it with her, but she still didn't listen to them, and I respect her for that. Well,
I feel like in that position she was kind of obligated to, because if she doesn't, she's put herself in a really, really bad spot.
To some degree, yeah. And when you make concessions to people, like say, look, if you're on, then we're gonna do this and this, and you break those, right? Then nobody wants to go on your channel. She didn't break them, so I think that starts off like really well. That it shows that she's willing to say, look, I will have guests on, and they know that. When I make an agreement with them, that's going to be fulfilled. And I think that's extremely important on YouTube. I mean, when you start losing that, then who wants to go on your channel? Like people that message me, they know their messages are safe. They know that they're not going to get blasted everywhere. No matter how much I despise them, it's never going to happen. So when you have people like other content creators who they love to throw around things as weapons, right? Oh, look, this content creator sent me this and this and this. It's like
it sets up, and it kind of goes into what we're talking about today, which is mental wellness. In that, if you're in DMs with people like that, and they create sort of a blanket of mistrust, right? They create a blanket of you don't know which account is who and who you're talking to or what they want from you when they're talking to you, right? Everything is to get something out, right? Nothing can just be a conversation. It has to be like a gotcha, or it has to be it's a trick, or it has to be, and like it tries to sort of almost instill like this sense of paranoia that there's these people watching my accounts, that there's these people that are looking for any single thing I say, so I have to be very, very careful about every single word I say, and then no matter what I say or how I say it, it's going to get twisted to it's a bullying tactic, right?
Yeah, well, that's part of the thing for gang stalking, right?
The goal is to shut you up at the end of the day.
Gang stalking is one of its purposes is to defame people. It's out there to discredit them. It is out there to have bizarre narratives like, oh, there's some super secret cult that anybody in their right mind knows is bullshit. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry, but you've got to be extremely gullible to believe that bullshit. But whatever. But that's what they do. They'll run these bizarre narratives, and then when anybody asks them for evidence, what do you think happens every time somebody asks them for evidence?
Well, two things tend to happen. They obfuscate and just try to bring something else up and never show any, or they ghost. One of my favorites is usually they'll try and... I saw somebody obfuscating for almost 3 days of like claiming that this thing happened in a video, of people being like, okay, which video, show us this. And they just ran around in circles for almost 3 days until finally they started blocking people when other people started showing the evidence of their claim, showing that it was completely backwards.
Oh, so the end result is almost always that they block people that ask for evidence. Interesting.
They run away,
Yeah.
and then they come in on another account.
Yeah. It's like a never-ending cycle of troll accounts, right? I mean, all these people out there that think that like that narrative that they're running is correct. All you got to do is ask yourself, who's making all these troll accounts? Who's making all these accounts that go after us? People ask for evidence, they block, and then they make a new account and repeats the cycle over and over and over again. It's just a continuous lying and trolling. It's who's doing that? It's certainly not us. So,
I want to know who's got the time.
Well, I mean, I think they have time. I think it's who has the stamina for 5 years to be doing this to me is pretty impressive. I gotta admit, that's a lot of stamina.
That is pretty impressive. I'll give you that. Yeah, that's persistence.
Persistence. Yeah.
I mean, if you see a man doing it, if you saw a man doing it to a young girl, well, look out. But, this Steve guy.
Call the news, right? By the way, yes, I still have a canker sore. It's kind of going away, but man, they hurt. They do hurt. It's right here.
I get them very rarely.
Yeah, but I gotta have my coffee. Yeah, this was injury. I did it to myself, and I knew I hurt myself a little bit, but I didn't know it was going to develop into a canker sore, and it did. But,
a little bit of mouth herpes.
Yeah, that's what it is. And no, actually, it's not caused by that. That's canker. That's a cold sore. You have it confused.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a real cold sore that I recall. But this.
I like how when Steve doesn't get my joke, I'm the one confused.
Yeah, but anyways, it's still there. But anyways,
patriarchal bullshit.
Right? This is mansplaining at its finest. Where do you get a gulp cup from?
My sister.
I like that. Gulp.
She gave me one that says gulp and one that says sip, and they're the same kind of cup.
RNGG Gaming says that's why I block them, not wasting my time with them. Sometimes I play with them first, which is fine. I've asked people. I'm kind of curious. What is your reasoning for dealing with these trolls? It is, enjoyment. Is it, just exercising your critical thinking skills? It is just, for the lulls. I mean, I don't really care, but I'm just kind of curious.
They do make for very good practice. I'll give people that. If you wanted to practice your arguing skills and how to talk to a brick wall, that's a good way to do it.
And I respect that, right? People don't
just be careful because they are dangerous people. So you are playing with fire.
Well, yeah. Look what happened when I crossed them. I mean, I've had them stalk me for 5 freaking years after that. Right? I mean, so good luck with that, people.
They're a little bit safer in that they're probably never going to go after anybody else as hard as they've gone after like Steve. Like they don't even come after me as hard as they try to go after. Yes. Yeah, pretty much.
Yes. You're welcome,
Steve
people.
Is the Jesus meme blocking all the pebbles and getting hit by one. I'm like,
maybe that's why they started the narrative of a cult leader, because that is kind of true. I don't know who else they would go after as hard as they've gone after me for the last.
Steve is dying for our sins.
Thank you. I have sacrificed my mental health for you all, and don't look. When it comes to mental wellness, here's the facts. Everybody has their issues. Everybody has their trauma. People have things they will never tell anybody throughout their life. We get this, right? But your mental wellness is something that you need to take care of. I am not responsible for other people's mental wellness, just like they're not for mine. This is why I don't go on air and, air all the unwellness that I've had, or, Cheshire has had. Well, I don't know. Do you go on and do your mental unwellness stuff? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't watch your stuff. I thought you were my friends.
No, I actually watch your stuff because I'm in the live chat most of the time.
Yeah,
and if I don't, I watch it after the fact.
Yeah, and there's some things that you don't watch because
not everybody.
There's some things that I haven't watched reviews and something. You can't watch everything. That would be unreasonable. But we're not attached at the hip. But there's a degree of when you're somebody's friend, there's a social construct of at what degree of friendship you're at with that person, but that's between those two people. So if Steve started behaving in a way that I thought was he needed to take a break or something, or I thought something was getting to him, I would say so.
You have in the past said so.
Yes. And so there's been times where it's like, hey, I think this is getting to you. Take a break, or maybe take a step back and talk about something else, or da 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 da. And you can have those conversations, but those are between individuals who are friends, and those relationships in their real life. That is not up for other people. Like, it's not up to somebody on, like, a random on the internet to tell me that I should be telling
Right.
Steve this thing, right? That's between us and whether or not we're at that level of friendship, because not everybody is. You could have a co-host and you might not be that good of friends with that person.
And it's funny you mention that, because like there have been other content creators that people told them to take a break and they took some major offense to it. But these are supporters, right? They may not be friends, but these are people that actually were longtime supporters. And
if
so
you have a lot of your fan base
not
and
like a rando,
supporters saying that they're worried about you,
you should
then
take that
I
into
think
account.
it's reasonable to take. It doesn't mean that they get to dictate it, but it does mean that, hey, maybe you should consider the situation a little bit differently.
And by the way, you do realize that I am like 10,000 times better friends with you than I ever was with Kyle.
I mean, that makes sense. Kyle's
seriously.
kind of a dick.
So RTD Gaming says, did you find what you needed when we had the super secret meeting yesterday? I have not yet. It's a lot of data. You know how hard it is to find certain things? Now, there are supposedly some ways of doing it through programming, but I don't have that skill set. So I'm still looking for that information. So if anybody wants to know whether a super secret meeting was between me and RGD Gating, a lot of information stored server side. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, and I'll make a video of it showing people how to do this once I figure it all out. But Paul showed me some of it, how to at least download it. Even if you have deleted a Facebook, or somebody has deleted their Facebook account, all their messages are there on the server side from Facebook,
Yep.
not on your side, not locally, but server side. You can download all your Facebook data, and anybody who's ever sent you a message, it's in there.
Yep.
The problem is, if they've deleted their account, it comes up as Facebook user or something like that, and it had like a weird code. It doesn't come up with a name. So trying to do a string search is nearly impossible, and each one is an individual file. Now, again, programming wise, from what I understand from asking around, you can make a program, maybe search for it, but just for your own edification, if people have sent you stuff and you're trying to find it and they deleted their account, it is still there no matter what they do. Twitter's the same way. You can download all your data and it's server side. So
Once
anything
you
you
put it on
say
the
to
internet,
people,
it's
it's
there
there.
forever.
And I'm happy for that. It's one reason why I use Twitter, because I know there's a record of it. No matter what happens to my account or someone else's account, there's still a record of it, and I want that.
Yep.
I didn't know until recently Facebook did the same thing.
You probably should have guessed.
Yeah, well, I knew. I remember something about being able to download data, but I didn't think that it would download accounts that had been terminated or
Yeah,
self-terminated.
no,
even,
why?
kind of thing.
Yeah, with how much that Facebook does with people's information, you really think they're gonna delete anything? No, that's their money. It's their money maker.
Well, we know people that delete their Facebooks. We know people that delete their Twitter, and it doesn't hide anything.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you say about what happens on the internet?
Oh yeah, no, once it's on the internet, it's there forever. It's somewhere.
Mm-hmm. It's somewhere.
It's somewhere. And if people really want to find it, they'll find a way to find it.
And this is why, even though I look, I know Todd Chrisley's never going to get a hold of me. I am not an idiot, right? But I wanted people to be aware. Todd Chrisley?
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, but I made it aware that, hey, look, I'll turn over anything I want to him. I'll give him my freaking passwords. I'll give him my IG, my Twitter, my Facebook, my emails. I don't care for shit. He can have anything he wants. Matter of fact, when I turned over everything to Ruhif and my lawyer on Twitter, because
I wouldn't make that offer, but
well,
okay.
I'm not asking you to, okay? I'm really not. But I have made that offer publicly, and I will stand by that. But it's so funny because when I gave my Twitter history to my lawyer, because remember when Ben had been deposed, he didn't have his account any longer.
His side of
His side of the account. Now, he could have gotten it from Twitter, but I was like, no, I'll send you my thing. But instead of just sending that, I gave him everything. I mean, and I said, have at it. Knock yourself out. Ruhif has all my information on my Twitter, anything I've ever said to anybody. And I trust him with it, okay? So, unfortunately, I do respect people's privacy, but he is my attorney in fact. He is funding the lawsuit, and he doesn't give a shit about any of you people, to be honest, when it comes to... so don't worry about that, but...
It's a very specific situation. You're not giving out people's information. It was required by law to get this information to in a situation. You can't, that's not something that Steve has control over.
Well, no, I wasn't required to turn over everything. I volunteered. I was not ordered to do anything. I completely volunteered for that. I was like, oh, I'll do it. Yeah, because people are like, oh, once they see communications with Ben, look what's going to happen. You know, they're going to say,
it's a fanfic. Ben and Steve's conversation is like the no. I mean, your conversation.
What they were saying about was
like but it's my God, it's so
pain was
cute.
real.
It's like you could totally make that into a dojin if you wanted to.
Yeah, well,
if somebody wanted to.
Do you think that Ben and I are going to go around expressing our pain?
Wanted to.
Shut up. You're not going to.
I want somebody else to do it.
but do you think Ben and I are going to go around expressing our pain to anybody else that has experienced the pain that we had with it? You know, we commiserated with each other.
It's just not the same. Yeah, it's just not the same. It's the same thing as like people getting together to complain about Jimmy on the subreddit, to be like, hey, we've all had these experiences. Let's talk about our experiences, so they can kind of put things into perspective, so you don't feel like you're alone and you don't feel like you're a crazy person.
Absolutely.
Because you're not.
Yeah, no, you nailed it. And so, you know, so he has figured out how to go into the JSON, because, you know, he's not a real programmer technically, I guess, although he is. But I mean, I can tell you right now, he knows how to program. That's how he made his money. But
that was one of my favorite things in Kyle's deposition.
What's that? He wasn't a
when
real programmer?
Kyle said that Ruhif doesn't know what he is doing at all. He doesn't even work in this field. And then later on was like, what does he do?
Yeah, he works in that field. Exactly the field he works in. That field. I will tell you this. I'm not even fronting. My lawyer had said, look, if I need an expert testimony when it comes to this kind of stuff, I will actually call you, Ruhiv, as an expert testimony in other cases. I'm not even bullshitting you. So yeah, he knows his shit. But so he has figured out a way to go in and extricate that data from the JSON. So yeah, it's a lot of shit though. It's a big files for these things. But I just want people to let you know that if anybody's ever sent you stuff, it's still there. And I want records to be there. This is why they're saying, oh, wait till they get Steve's communications. I will give Todd Chrisley everything he wants. I've offered it. I'm like, take it. I'll give you my passwords to everything. Go ahead, download it straight from the source. If he thinks it's going to help him, I'm done. I'm done messing around with certain people that have defamed me. And if people want to like sue and I can help them, I will do everything I can to help them on it, because it has gotten to the point of absurdity what these people have said, putting my name to things that never happened. I mean, just recently there was this strange, bizarre narrative that I've somehow
go look into that metadata.
I don't think they know what metadata is. I mean, it's just they don't. But it's like, oh, Steve knows this person is sending threats and this and this and this. It's from his account, but we don't have screenshots of that account. But we verified his account. I have not used Instagram for over a year until recently. I can prove this. This is provable. This is not this like subjective, provable. And so it's like, why would people believe any of this bullshit? I don't understand how gullible people are when it can be shown that it's completely wrong prima facie. And also that they had admitted that they don't have the evidence to even show. There's nothing to show. There is no evidence, but I saw something and I verified it. And it's like,
that was one of the things when it came to those doxing allegations that Manya and AT2 went through. I don't have evidence that it was them, but it was them.
Yeah.
Quote verbatim. That's what that person making the accusation said.
Yeah, I don't have evidence of the crime, but I'm going to go to well, it's kind of like when somebody supposedly, and I look, I don't know if they did or didn't call the FBI, but somebody supposedly called the FBI on me. I have no record of that. I have no knowledge of that. Or was it Medi-Cal?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. And and my question to them is, what evidence did you give them? Because there is none.
Right.
So the other question what the hell could you possibly have called them for and gave them as evidence? Nothing.
The other question is, why is it so wrong for people to have called CPS or the FBI or called the police? So like Aaron calling the police to double check something, and that's so wrong, but it's totally okay for them to do that.
Yeah, it's not so much calling. Look, to double check facts and things of that nature for a public figure, I understand that.
Well, what I mean is on their end, right? They flip it. They're like, it's okay for me to make these false reports. It's okay for me to call CPS. It's okay for me to do all this stuff. But if you do it to that person, that's a problem. Well, even if you didn't do exactly those things, like you did something more innocuous.
And anybody who, and I've said this, anybody who calls the police or CPS or anybody with false reporting needs to be prosecuted. Straight up, no questions asked, no pass go. It is misuse of time and it harms other people because those resources could have been used somewhere else. Simple as that.
the chat's picking it up, right? Why, like, who is that? The Ferricide? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Why the hell would anyone dox AT2? Good question.
Good question.
Why would they?
I mean, I know his first name because I called him by, you know, he goes by his first name, and you're married to him, so you know him pretty well.
Yep.
So, but why would anybody dox him?
Right. And why would he dox anybody else?
Yeah, it just makes no sense.
People. Yeah, you get to the point of where allegations get to the point of absurdity, and they started getting to the point of absurdity 2 years ago when we were talking about all the rape apologetics and what rape apologetics was, and we ended up having this big conversation where half of the people were just trying to shut down and saying it's not even okay to talk about rape apologetics, and it kind of exposing what they are and showing what it is and what it isn't and how you recognize it and how you counteract it. Apparently that was all bad. And that, like, you've jumped the shark by going this. You've overplayed your hand in trying to go after Steve by going this direction. And then it's just been downhill from there. It just gets more and more and more absurd.
Yeah, I mean, people said, "Oh, Steve doxed somebody." No, I did not dox somebody. What happened was they doxed themselves. They helped Kyle give fraudulent information to the court. They doxed themselves. Other people ran with it. Everybody knew who he was. And I was and when I mentioned this person's name, I was trying to clarify that was who it was that was being talked about. That was it. You know, his name was already out there, so I didn't dox anybody. I just saw something and I was like, is this person or somebody else? But
well, it's just like when Uni calls me Vicky. Like, he's not doxing me. That's not a dox. It might not be appropriate. It might be weird and make no sense for him to call me that because people don't call me that. So people don't know who you're talking about. I mean, so it's kind of bizarre, but
I refer to you by your real name, but even then I don't call you Vicky.
Right, yeah, and almost nobody calls me that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, people can call me whatever they want. I don't care about that. I really don't. I'm
not concerned.
Names don't bother me.
I'm certainly not. Again, like I said, I'm not concerned by it. It's not a dox in any way, shape, or form. My name is out there. It exists. People tried to dox me, failed.
That was funny.
Katie then tried to perpetuate that failed dox attempt. And I was just like, I'll just tell you if you want. You could have just, you guys didn't have to do all this work. You could have just asked.
Yeah. And when you use your own name in your own stream, and then go later on say, "Hey, I'm being doxxed," you're just a putz. You're a putz. There's no other word to describe it. You're just a putz.
I don't even go, like, I very, very rarely do I ever call Unirock Jason. Very, very rarely, and I only specifically do it when I'm trying to clarify who I'm talking about.
Yeah, most of the time people don't even know who you're referring to, so what's the point? Yeah, but he has been in his video. He refers himself as Jason. People call him Jason. I mean, it's like, so then you can't call that a dox. And by the way, there's some other page I've read.
He's like, Cheshire Vic's secret was been released. It's Vic. Yeah, it's exactly. Vic. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so I mean,
it's so complicated.
So a lot of these people are just running these weird, bizarre narratives, and of course, these other groups out there, they don't know people very well, and they don't understand the dynamics. They don't know the history because, let's face it, there's been years and years and years and years and years and years of history. It is a long-standing.
Well, they rely on that, right? So they'll rely on this. The evidence for this lie is this lie, which is this lie, which was this truth that was turned into this lie, and so it's a Gordian knot of absolute garbage of, like, so if you want to track down like this, that's actually, it's a kind of a mental gymnastics exercise. So, like, if you guys are ever bored and wanting to, like, practice doing research or anything like that, you can go and say, all right, where did this come from? Where does this one particular thing that somebody's saying about, because it's so gone beyond even anything close to what any of us have ever actually said. Is kind of fun to try and unravel it to see where is this one claim coming from, where has this gone, and just try and follow the thread all the way down and around to, it's like not even close. It's like a weird game of malicious telephone.
And one of the things it's kind of a catch-22 when they run these kind of games, because they'll do certain things, say certain things that they think are benefiting them, but at the same time harms them. For example, when they run these narratives that there's some kind of weird cult, and then somebody like looks into it and finds that they're full of shit, that person now becomes part of the cult. And they're like, wait a minute here, I'm not part of a cult. And I'm like, thank you. Welcome to our world. You are now not part of the non-cult because you have been accused of being a cult that doesn't exist. Perfect.
Welcome to the non-cult cult.
Welcome to the non-cult. Oh, that's
this reminds me of my fundraiser.
I'm using that. I'm using that first show thing. You can't take it. Welcome to the non-cult.
Welcome to the non-cult.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, me too.
That's what we should call the. That's what we should call the con. The non-con.
The non-con.
Non-cult. The non-cult non-con.
Non-cult non-con. See, this is why we work together. We have a good synergy. I'm not even kidding. People don't get it. I come up with something and you kind of finish it. You come up with something and I kind of finish it. We work together, and that's how it's supposed to work. I don't know fuck all about certain things. She does. She doesn't know fuck all about other things that I kind of do, and we kind of go, okay, let's combine them together and see what we're gonna get. You know?
Usually it's a shit show.
There will be shit shows coming up.
Oh my god! Back to mental health.
Mental health are shit show. You know what? I think shit shows are good for mental health. They go, wait a minute, these people are worse off than we are.
I found that a lot of times people will make videos because they want to talk about something because something is bothering them. This is something they care about, so they're making a video about it. And I think that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Some people are better scripted than unscripted. Sometimes different topics require a different hand to them, and that's all well and good. But one of the things I really enjoyed about doing that time of the month this past Saturday was that I think it felt really cathartic for a lot of people to be able to just get in a call and not explain what was going on, but talk about what was going on. Because everybody's videos have been just explaining the whole mess, because it was all about Jimmy Snow stuff. So people were just explaining everything, right? That's what all the videos were. So getting into a call with a couple of people who had already made videos, like Mika and like Katie Daisy, by the way, not that other Katie Daisy,
who is it?
Was
what is she? She's a
valuable. Was really valuable. You all right?
Oh, I was trying. Her thing is infectious disease or something, isn't it?
Katie Daisy, yeah, she's also a professional, or was a professional advocate. So she worked with her local government and stuff in advocacy, and did talks and on the news and shit. She's cool. I like her. But both those ladies are fantastic. I'm glad we found them, because
they're very nice.
They're great so far. I hope nothing but the best for them.
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting with Mika in the next few days here, trying to get her and atheist pastor to do a show on critical thinking. She's she, as they say in the Boston area, is wicked smart.
Yeah, no, she's fantastic.
Like, really smart.
I think I want to get like there's a lot of people that I want to get on individually. I'm working on a little series because I think this is important and cathartic also for people's mental health and for sort of the health of people as a community, to talk about sort of what's gone on and what their experience has been like. I'm not going to be asking people for like evidence or big breakdowns of situations or drama. I don't really care about that. But what I do care is what people's experience has been like in dealing with online atheism, and like specifically like the Atheist Plus online atheism stuff. Because I don't even just want to talk to atheists. I found Paul and Morgan on Twitter, and I'm like, I'm gonna message Paul and Morgan.
See, I don't even listen to them. Should I start paying attention to those people? I don't. They're like, are they the purity culture ones?
Yes. Paul and Morgan, the Paul and Morgan show. But I also want to I would love to get like one or both of the Girl Defined girls on, or Morgan and like a couple of other people for that time of the month, just talking about purity culture and being like, okay, well, what's good about purity culture? What's bad about purity culture? What do we agree with? What do we don't agree with? Where can we reach? Is there a balance? Is there like some things that some people are okay with? And so, because I'd be curious to know and sort of have that conversation in a conversation format instead of a berating format, or instead of a debate format. And it's like, no, you can't. It's very difficult to debate how somebody decides to live in their married life. It seems not appropriate.
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it's just, So I have no interest in that kind
You
of
can
stuff.
debate like the culture. I think it's fine to have debates about the culture, but to debate somebody's life, it would be, I think it's far more valuable to be like, okay, well, Morgan, you've been living like this for X amount of years now. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? What's been a struggle? What has not been a struggle? Have there been changes that you've needed to make to your to the philosophy of the way your marriage, whatever? But I just mean more less in like an
So
interview, more like
wait, okay.
table.
Let me wrap my head around this. Paul and Morgan are married, right?
Yeah.
And they don't have sex.
What? No, they have sex. Purity culture isn't about.
No, I understand that. I know what purity
marriage.
culture is, but okay, but they do have sex then. Okay.
As far as I know.
All right, so we got a few callers coming in here. So one at a time. Let me first come, first serve. Brandon, I believe we have. Brandon.
Yeah. Okay, I'm here.
You are here. How are you? What do you got for us, man?
I'm good. This actually, I didn't think this kind of made sense, but I guess it does. I was just wondering what the heck happened last night with Ethan. I mean, I was just reacting last night when it comes to Ethan, but what actually happened?
What happened with what specifically?
Remember the tweet about they were like trying to hold me because they knew
Okay, so what happened was this. I was going to do a stream yesterday after the debate, right? And I figured out maybe do it around 2:30, 3 o'clock, right? It was going to be very long. Just going to be a short, the cesspool on the other channel, the Great Debate Community channel. If you haven't subscribed to that channel yet, link in the video description. Go check it out.
It's a show, by the way. Cesspool is like an ongoing series show that Steve is doing. It's not like this one video was called that.
What is that? What did he think it was a one video about him?
It looked like that's what he was implying.
Jesus Christ! All right, no. So it's a show that I show. These are more produced shows, but the cesspool is something that I do. It's to address problematic YouTubers and behaviors from my own perspective in a little more critical way. But I know if that at least gets flagged over there, if people get like this, I'm gonna mass flag Steve, then. If something happens to that channel, it's not as critical as this channel because these people that I talk about are just nuts, just straight up nuts. And so Brandon and I went to Brandon and I said, hey, Brandon, I saw, was watching your video that you did a review on ProLib's video, but I couldn't understand what you were saying because your mic was so low and the audio was off, which we're going to fix. But he fixed his shit, right? You fixed your shit, Brandon?
Yeah, I was able to get it fixed.
Yeah, and you sounded great, right? So I said, hey, look, how about you come on and instead of just kind of going over your video, what you said there, you just kind of readdress it, right?
Yeah. Something happened where they couldn't heal me and got weird, whatever.
Yeah, and so I kept I was doing multiple things. I kept having to get postponed, and I was like, okay, so give me 30 more minutes. Give me 3 more minutes. We finally settled on 4 o'clock. So then somebody again, I don't follow any of these people because again, I don't follow mentally unwell people. I just cannot do it. So Ethan, I guess, ProLib tweeted out that I, for some reason, was trying to step on his stream because he was trying to go over his pain and his sexual assault or something. I don't know what the hell he was talking about.
By the way, who falsely called either the FBI
Same
or
guy, yeah,
Medi-Cal
good point.
and encouraged his followers to do the same, to falsely report me and Steve. His last stream before he went dark because he said he got a job that said that he couldn't be doing what he was doing on the internet anymore. I wonder why. Said he was going to apologize to me and wanted to bring me on a stream to talk to me. And as soon as I showed up, he took off. And then I tweeted at him, and then I never seen or heard from again until now. He's immediately right back. He left. There's a gap there, and then when he comes back, he talks as if he was never gone. And it's like, what did you do for this amount of time?
I don't know, but whatever it was, he didn't get the help he needed because he needs some professional help. I'm not fronting, and this goes back to the mental wellness. He is not mentally well. He's even admitted to this. So why are you making matters worse? Why are you harming people, ProLib, by making false accusations about people that you know are not true? You've supported a ex-partner of mine by helping him, basically enabling him to steal the Non Sequitur Show channel and $60,000, and you know he committed fraud. You have said he probably committed perjury and forgery, and you know he submitted altered evidence.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, he knows these things, and yet he still wants to stream with them. He's still supporting them, and he's still making
He's
shit
helping
up.
him, going out of his way to help him.
And
yeah.
he's trying to say that other people are doing the harm. No, let me put it this way very clearly to you, Ethan. When you're lying for views, you are harming people that are victims. You're making it more difficult for them. And you know you're full of shit. You know you're LARPing. You know you picked it up from Unirock. I mean, come on. But when
I
you
kind of bet that he doesn't know who Brandon is.
I doubt it. I doubt it. But when you call the FBI or Medicaid or Medi-Cal or whatever the fuck you said you called, and you have no evidence for it, which we know you don't, and you admitted, did he admit when he said he called? When if you remember, I had asked him directly that last time I spoke to him, I said, "What the hell evidence do you have of this?" And he had nothing. He said, "Well, I just believe Kyle." Kind of thing.
he said he called and then he apologized for calling, but never had any evidence that he actually did in fact call.
Right. So I mean,
would it be too far to start referring to him as herpes?
is that the theme of the show? Anyways, that's I believe that is AT2 Jared, your husband, that's spoken right there. It's so Brandon and AT2 showed up at the same time. Does that mean that they're in collusion? Are they doing a team project or something? Are they teaming up?
Let's just call it divine providence.
It's appropriate for the show.
You guys didn't, there was no collusion?
It's on brand.
Not that I know of.
The main reason why I wanted to pop in, because this was actually the safer way to do it, seeing as how I am currently on Interstate 90 headed west and just left the Worcester area about 15 minutes ago. You spent how much time in this area and you still didn't pick up the idiosyncrasies of the accent here?
Boston.
I believe it in Boston. Leave it alone. I used to live in Connecticut. I used to live in Windsor Locks.
Stop doxing Jared. God damn it.
Well, he doesn't live in Connecticut. I didn't dox him.
Leave him alone.
Leave him alone. Why do I want to dox Jared? I don't know. You should see the file I've got on him.
You gotta remember, if the R is in the middle or at the end of the word, it's no longer an R, it's an H.
Okay, so brother, wada.
So when you want to compliment someone, you don't call them wicked smart. They're wicked smart.
Wicked smart. Yeah, wicked smart.
Yeah.
No, I did. I know. If I'm not mistaken, I picked up the word wicked when I was living in Connecticut. Yeah, I don't think I've ever really heard the term used that before.
Yeah, probably the oddest slang that is definitely regional to the greater Boston area. Wicked pissa.
Pissa, yeah, pissa. Yeah, wicked pissa.
I am still unsure of what it means, because most of the time it seems like it's something that's actually really, really good, or you're just being a huge fucking idiot. There's that huge middle.
I have a question for you, AT2. With all the stuff that's been going on recently and the accusations against you, how's your mental health? How you cope?
That's not a good sign.
On mute.
He just turned quiet. Not bad, man. Wow. Sorry to hear that, bro.
No, I'm one of those people that's polite and mute when I'm in the car when I'm not talking, because I know how annoying road noise can be. But to answer your question directly, I'm actually doing fine, because I know who does and doesn't matter and who is allowed to have an effect on my mental health and my mental state. So I just point and laugh at a lot of them, and it's actually really done well.
Yeah.
I also know how to unplug and not interact with people that are no good for anyone in any way.
That's exactly
that's actually a really good approach, is to understand that your mental health is your business and you get to decide who matters to you. And so if you can disconnect and disassociate sort of what the accusations are, instead of viewing them as about you, and you just keep a perspective on where they're coming from and whether or not you decide those people affect your life, is definitely a very, very valid way to sort of address things.
Yeah.
It's not even them directly as much as I've long since reached the conclusion there's, only really kind of a handful of people, and I think a lot of them have multiple socks, that are this insane, right? There's people that are that mentally unwell that they are delusional, straight up delusional. Sociopaths, psychopaths, they're all the above. That doesn't get to me, because I recognize that they do not have the mental wherewithal to even care or understand what the hell they're doing is wrong. Okay, I get that. But what kind of gets me, and again, I don't usually talk about what affects me that much because it's none of anybody else's fucking business. But there is one thing that I'll say is when they affect other people that I thought were rational people that ended up weren't being rational people. That to me bothers me because I misunderstood that
right?
these people were rational, or I've had them on my show, I've had them as guests, I've supported them, and then to find out that they are not the critical thinker I thought there was, that does bother me. That makes me lose a little bit more hope for humanity,
Yeah, that's a proxy thing, right?
Proxy,
like you have
sure.
Yeah, you have a perspective on what you expect from people, and you help people inform friendships based on this ground, or this common ground of critical thinking and education and the things that you have in common with them. And then you find out down the line that they don't actually give a shit about any of the things that they pretended to care about in the first place, right? It can be a bit of a shock to the system, particularly when you think you're friends with these people.
Absolutely. To get back real quick though, to the Brandon thing, if we're just going to wrap that up. AT8, you got anything else you want to add?
Ooh.
No, I'm good at the moment.
How's your marriage with Chesh going? I'm going to just dive right into that. Is that going well? That bad, right?
It's going phenomenally.
He's so quiet. Like, that bad.
Phenomenally. Okay. Why would you even ask that? I mean, is there something I should know about?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of fear for you. That's all. I'm looking out for you, brother. That's all.
I'm the worst, honestly.
I know who's in charge in what segments of life.
Don't we
That's
all?
That's how good relationships work, is understanding who's in charge of what and when.
Oh man.
Oh.
All right, thank you, buddy. So you can hang on the call, but I want to get back to Brandon real quick because like I said, Brandon and I were going to do that, the cesspool, and I had technical difficulties. But then we get this notification from somebody that had tweeted out what Prolib said. That can you just read it? Do you have that tweet or something? I don't want to show it because I just.
I can find it. Yeah.
But it's something along the lines of basically like, oh look, Steve's trying to stream over me to try to prevent people from hearing my pain. Or I mean, I'm paraphrasing like a bitch, but it's just bizarre. And I go, first of all, I have no idea when he streams. I don't watch the streams. Why would I? And then I was like, look, I don't respond to allegations. I respond to evidence. But this is too great to pass up. And I was like, okay, let me show you the messages I had to Brandon. I didn't show Brandon's side. He wouldn't have cared, and I would have asked for some permission. But I was like, nah, whatever. I'll show my side because it's my messages. But Brandon, did any of our conversation have to do with Ethan streaming?
No, not at all.
So where did you get that idea from that we were somehow? I get it, because he LARPs. These are fabricated stories that people do for narrative and views.
He's got whatever problems he's got, and all problems come back to Steve.
Everything comes back to
Steve's fault. I heard one time that one of these people spilled their coffee. Fucking Steve, man.
Yeah, that was my fault.
So, do you want to know what the tweet actually says?
Yeah. Let me just read this real quick because I think this is kind of apropos for what we're talking about.
Well, it's also like apropos of nothing, right? There's no like context to this whatsoever. He doesn't like link any kind of stream screenshots, nothing. It just says, I think it's really revolting on the day I talk about doing a stream where I plan to talk about my sexual assault story. Steve McRae schedules a stream calling me a cesspool. How dare he do this? Follow-up tweet. It's not my fault I was sexually assaulted as a child, and I do not deserve to be bullied over it. Steve McRae is the lowest of the low. Can I break this down?
Yeah, please do. But this is where you just say, look, go get help, man. Go get help. I'm not confronting. I'm being very serious. Ethan, you need professional help. I mean, multiple freaking levels, dude. I have nothing to do with your pain, nothing to do with your sexual assault, nothing to do with your stream, nothing to do with you, period. You need to go get help because this paranoia and this fabrication shit and you hurting people is not helping you, dude. It's just straight up not helping you. And go ahead.
there's a couple of things in this, and like nobody's talking about this. This is part of the problem that we ran into on the other day when we had that summit. Nobody's talking about your assault. It's very sad that happened to you, and people feel for you, and people are empathetic. What people are saying is, don't use and abuse people's empathy.
Which some content creators most simply have, yes.
And weaponize that against other people. Because that appears to be what you're doing here now. Whether or not you're doing it on purpose is up in the air for people to discuss and have that conversation, because now you've brought it up and now people can have that conversation because you made it public and put it on the internet for people to discuss and have that conversation. But there's one thing in here that I really want to touch on. I think it's really revolting on the day I talk about doing a stream where I plan to talk about.
It wasn't even him doing the stream? It was where he planned on it?
So no, it's not even when he planned on it. It's when he talked about doing a stream where he planned. Yes. It's not that you streamed over his stream. It's that he apparently planned to do something and was talking about doing a stream about planning to do this thing. This is such a bizarre like how do you know where were you talking about this? And then where were you talking about this that Steve would have known? And how did Steve get it so wrong to do it that day instead of the day that, if that's what his goal was? Like I
would have waited until he done the stream, I guess, right? I don't think
it would have mattered.
Oh no, it wouldn't.
No, well, no,
he doesn't geek.
It wouldn't have. It's just like there's a I don't want to even call it a narrative. There's like narrative is not even the right word. There's just this world that's being built and it's like none of this makes any sense to me at all.
It kind of does in one way. Again, I know now that Ethan has gotten into the LARPing thing, right? And so I'm going to read this real quick about LARPers, and this comes from a page about Jason.
Yeah, go for it.
This is about Unirock. Yep. They say they have taken upon themselves to expose LARPers. These are the LARP busters, who in their view fabricate false narratives and spin lies to fear porn in order to get YouTube subscribers, revenue, and donations. They claim these LARPers do real damage to real people and they need to be stopped. That's what LARP busting is. And then when it comes to LARPing, here's what they say about Unirock. And by the way, let me emphasize. Think about this. Listen to this.
Mythology. Yes. It's a lore. There's like a lore being built. Yeah.
So listen to this and tell me this not apply to Unirock, because this is about Unirock. Unirock and other people on Unirock are known LARPers who dedicate their meaningless endeavors to discredit researchers and abuse survivors. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. This is what they say about him. The LARPbuster Gangstalker also grew out of online gaming, Tarkov, I think it was, but has since dedicated his entire platform to LARP busting. Unirock regularly produces 5 to 6 hour live streams in a mismatched content, toggling between online gaming, trash talking, and reviewing and commenting on other content creators. He infuriatingly states anything and everything that comes to his mind and comes to mind and often contradicting himself several times within the course of a single live stream. A review of his past videos reveals that he throws himself into online controversy in order to generate content for his channel. I first attempted to contact him. This is not me, by the way, but this is before he met me. I first attempted to contact him and correct him of his inaccurate information, but I quickly learned that it was intentional and meant to spur chaos. One more thing. This online social media grifter never retracts any wrong or misinformation, but simply cranks out more content, which may or may not contradict his previous statements, videos. It is obvious to me that his primary objective is to derail and redirect any narrative which may be close to any truth. In his videos, he regularly accuses anyone conducting research of being government agents and deep state operatives. I produce a parody video correcting and criticizing many of his outright lies and fabrications to which he's never addressed. He simply moved on with new content, again, much of it contradicting previous content. Did that not sound like him? Patterns of behavior.
It sounds like a few people. I got a message in DM saying that turns out that Ethan's video is going to be tonight at 7 p.m.
I'm not streaming tonight at 7 p.m., so have at it.
Nobody. I am actually. I'm streaming tonight.
Oh, you're stepping out on my purpose. Look at that.
At 7 p.m. And you know what it is? The stream that's been scheduled for 2 weeks because it's Dungeons and Dragons, and you know what it's for? Charity.
I don't watch those streams.
How dare you?
Yes.
Steve hates charity. Confirmed.
Exactly. So what is today? The 26th?
Yes.
Okay.
So you streamed yesterday
wait.
to interrupt his stream from today.
Just to say that Chestar's not a liar. We have a Google Calendar between us. Did we share?
Yes. It's a public calendar. Everybody can see it. Anybody can go look at this calendar. Yeah.
This is my time, by the way. You're 3 hours ahead. 4 p.m. Guns, Magic, and Steel, which is your stream, which is 7 p.m. your time.
Yeah, and it's already scheduled on YouTube. It's been scheduled on YouTube for like a week.
So it wasn't me that Ethan was addressing that to. It should have been you.
Oh, so you're telling me that I preemptively 2 months ago, when we decided to do D&D bi-weekly, was seeing the future, and that
you're that good.
The guy who was off the internet and not even back yet was going to come back and want to do a stream, that I just had to interrupt it.
You're literally that good. You planned this months ago. By the way, I'll put the links to those
months ago when he wasn't
there.
even around.
I just found one of these recently. The other one I've known for quite some time, but the total disclosure I just recently found when I was looking into the game stocking stuff just recently again. But yeah, I mean it's bizarre. What basically all they do is they spin bizarre things for views. That's it. I mean that, and so when people are buying into Union Rock's nonsense, like there's investigation for a cult. There's not.
I would actually
FBI,
really enjoy if it was less toxic and more of like a positive for funsies. I would enjoy the hell out of like a fake news, like a faux news drama thing about like, oh my god, Chesh da 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 da, and oh my god, Steve da 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 da. Like that would be funny to me. I think there's like value to a channel that does stuff like that.
I do too.
But
Chesh, you know, I don't know if you saw my tweet where I had asked people if they like cryptid messages. Remember what we do? Remember the slow burn of Unirock where we were putting out these cryptid messages? I enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, and so I don't know, you know, I didn't know if people liked it or not. I haven't looked at the totals yet. They were kind of 50-50, right? So some people like them, somebody don't, but I like them, all right? But what's whatever timestamp is going into this right now?
I think it kind of just depends on what's going on. And so like there was one where we said we titled it news, and people were like, so what's the update on non sequitur? And we were like, we never said there was any update.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm sorry guys, I like doing stuff like that. I want people to think critically and not jump to conclusions, right? But whatever this was, an hour into the stream here, there's no investigation on me as far as this bullshit that people are putting out of this cult narrative. There is, let me make this clear, there is no investigation. Okay, so quote me on that.
There's Sincere brings up a good point. Can you speak on mental health if you don't deal with it? Does that make sense? Everybody deals with mental health. Everybody has mental health and has to deal with it, right? We're not going to give you like advice as a professional. Nobody's going to give you, nobody's going to do anything like that. But talking about it as a general thing is very important. It's very good to talk about your mental health, about other people's mental health, about like as in like not as an analysis, but as in like an understanding and making mental health more of a mainstream thing that's easy and okay to talk about, because a lot of people don't want to talk about it because they're scared of it, and that's not good. Yeah. So it's important to have these kinds of conversations to make people
stigma around it too.
There's a lot of stigma. Absolutely, that's a brilliant point, man. There's so much stigma about it, and you know, we're not ever giving mental health advice. Telling people to get help is not giving you mental health advice. It's giving you just general advice. When you're somebody like Ethan who's actively making shit up about other people in order to get narrative and stream clicks and views, and this is not just my opinion. I mean, this is objectively the case. We've determined. He admitted there's no evidence for him calling FBI or why he would call the FBI or Medi-Cal or Medicaid, whatever the fuck he said he called. There's no evidence for this. He admitted there was no evidence for it. He just said, oh, well, I believe Kyle, who, by the way, again, is somebody who was found liable for fraud. He is a fraudster. He did lie to the court. He did lie to his lawyer. And yet this is the guy that Ethan decides to support as some paragon of virtue. I don't understand it. That's his prerogative. But that tells you the dichotomy between somebody like me, who instead of promoting somebody like Kyle, took him to court.
So sue me.
So sue me.
Famous last words.
Yeah,
I think Helios came in here.
Yeah, so we're gonna get to Helios
Yeah.
here in 1 second. So let me just wrap this up. So Brandon, thank you for pointing that out. That we had nothing to do with Ethan's freaking stream. That was, I think, was a complete lark. He needs to get help on that.
About mental? Hold on. How do you talk about mental health if you don't experience it personally? Who doesn't
doesn't?
experience mental health personally?
That makes no sense. We all, every person that has a conscience, who has, you know, is alert and aware, has some kind of mental health things.
The only people who would not is anybody who was born brain dead.
Right. I mean, that's just a weird statement.
Before you
So
bring
Dark
on Helios,
Dawkins.
What's that?
Ooh.
I didn't know if I'm in the call or not.
You are in the
People
call,
that were
yes.
born brain dead. Darth Dawkins.
You're second up here. Let's get to Helios, and then we'll get to that caller. So Helios, you're on next. You're in queue.
Helios.
There we go. I unmuted myself. There we go. Okay. Just saw the mental health as the thing. One of the things that, well, touching back really quickly on what was just said, everyone does deal with mental health. That's incredibly obvious. But there's also a huge stigmatism against it. Like, I didn't go and seek any kind of mental health thing because I grew up my whole life with my father telling me that if you ever go to therapy for any reason, you'll be labeled a crazy person and never get a job.
I've heard that before. Even though that some jobs even force you to. Some jobs you actually have to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a shame that stigma exists for that, because, you know, what if you especially think that you need therapy and you don't get the help you need, then who's really being served by that? No one.
Yeah.
And I personally encourage everyone to get therapy, because there's no guidebook on how to raise kids, and every parent fucks up in some way, shape, or form.
Nobody's perfect as a human being, right? And you know, but everybody takes things different ways. Everybody, you know, some people will go to drugs, some people go to alcohol, some people go to friends, some people go to family, some people go to the internet. I don't get that particular thing, because look, there are people out there that I think share too much on the internet about their own personal stuff, and when they do, it just sounds very self-victimizing, right? And especially if they do it once or twice, whatever, but they've done it for years. I mean, come on, man, that's just ridiculous. I mean, we understand people have had trauma in their lives, okay? But when you're using it as something to have gained sympathy from the audience every fucking time that you have been, you know, had some kind of, you know, molestation or whatever, we empathize, and we never think those things should ever happen, clearly, right? People understand those are bad things. But
nobody's questioning whether
nobody's
or not
questioning those
Sad
things.
fishing.
It is sad fishing. Well, it's more than that. It's emotional manipulation of the audience.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
emotional manipulation.
There's like a few things. Like, you'll notice that different people will talk about different things, and there's something that I've said before, and I'll say it again. There are times when it's important that the audience sit down and think about, why is this creator talking about this? Why is this creator having this conversation? Why is this creator putting this out? And I'm not saying that it's always malicious, and I'm not saying it's always for clicks. I'm saying that there's lots of reasons, and it's important as an audience member, if you're going to engage, that you protect yourself as an audience member too, to make sure you're not getting manipulated or nothing that, like, they're not, like, a content creator should not be harming your mental health. A content creator ought not to be putting you in a bad place. Now, that's not on the content creator. The content creator can't possibly know, but it's your responsibility to ask these questions, and ask these questions of yourself and of the content creator to yourself. I'm not saying go ask the content creator, hey, why are you putting this out? I mean, ask yourself why you think this content creator is putting this out. And is that you need to protect yourself. One of the things that Katie Daisy says that I absolutely love, not every channel is for everyone, and nobody's going to protect your mental health like you are. If this is a conversation that you're not able to have, or we're talking about topics that you are not able to handle having the conversation about, don't watch. And we don't mean that as a bad thing. We mean that protect yourself.
Exactly.
We can't protect you. You're the only one who can protect you.
I do want to add a caveat to what you just said, Chesh.
Yeah, please do.
There are content creators who can be directly responsible for negative things. Like, for example,
Yes. Yeah.
your
Onision is a good example.
Onision, yes.
I don't think anybody disagrees
Yes.
on that.
Absolutely.
Being predatory with your content is not on your victims, that's on the content creator.
Absolutely.
It's when they actually target people with mental health issues and stuff like that, or purposely drum up negative stereotypes to reinforce bigotry, stuff like that. So I do agree fully that if there are some topics, like, there are discussions to be had about horrific things that should be had, but not everyone should be in those conversations. The people who have been harmed by those things may not be able to stand in and have that conversation directly.
And here's the thing, though, Helios. The problem is that they go beyond that. They don't just say, "Look, I don't want to be a part of the conversation." They actively try to be in the conversation. They make issue about it, or worse, they tell other people they cannot have the conversation. That's where we find to be egregious, right?
There's a difference between saying, "Hey, listen, I don't think it was appropriate the way this content creator handled this content." There's another thing to say, "You can't talk about this."
Exactly. And
then go around slandering them
for talking about it.
To try to prevent the conversation from happening in the first place.
Yeah.
So
it's not okay to say, like, "Hey, listen, we're going to have let's say trans people in sports." It's not beneficial to go around and say, "You can't have this conversation. You're a transphobe for talking about this," because it shuts the conversation down. And shutting the conversation down does not help trans people in sports.
It makes it worse. It makes it harder.
Makes it worse. And it makes it very difficult to have the conversations. And when it makes it difficult to have those conversations, it makes it almost impossible to progress.
Yep. And there's two things in the live chat that I want to address. So one person says, why I don't go to the internet for mental health illness because you are not professional. Yeah, exactly. And you shouldn't. Right? Don't if you have mental health issues that you need to address, I'm sorry, the internet is not the best place to get your professional counseling. Go to professional, get counseling, right? I mean, that just seems to be a stopgap measure. I mean, that doesn't mean you can't listen to people.
It's the same as like don't go to the internet for legal advice. Yeah, hire a lawyer.
There's nothing wrong with doing your own research. I watch videos on these things. There's a doctor out there that has excellent videos on narcissism, and I watch a lot of her stuff. But that doesn't mean that if somebody was a narcissist, I said, "Hey, this person's a narcissist," I'm medically able to, diagnose that. I'm not a medical professional. That person needs to go and get medically checked out. This other person said, "Pot and kettle, Steve." LOL. I'm like, yeah, okay. When have I ever really talked about my personal trauma online? If I've had any kind of sexual things in my life that was traumatized, if I was raped, I was molested, anything like that, none of you would ever even know about it. I've never talked about any of that stuff. Now, would I? I don't know what you mean by that, because I certainly do. When these people
only brought mine up because I felt obligated to.
Yeah, and there's no obligation to do anything, right? So
the thing is that there were people that were pressuring and speaking in a way that forced me into a position where I felt like I had to. And how is that appropriate?
That's a shame. Yeah, that's a shame that you think that if somebody has to divulge in things. Like I said, there are things that I think that everybody has that they will never tell anybody in their lives, even probably their therapist, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But that's their things that they have to deal with. People deal things their own way. We all cope with things. I had a traumatic event not too long ago. I'm coping with it. I think
it's important to talk to each other and inform each other and have these kinds of conversations about how you do deal with it. You don't have to talk about your trauma. Mm-hmm. You don't have to talk about the thing that made you upset, but to talk about how you deal with that thing is healthy. And because how do you recognize you're doing something that's not healthy if you don't talk to people about it, if nobody knows you're doing that? So it's important in that regard.
I got back into this. You see these?
Oh, is that your bands?
Yeah, these are my bands. Yeah.
Nice.
I love these things, man. I've already lost another pound, I think, give or take. So if you guys have never tried these things, I'm recommending that if we get a sponsor. These resistance bands, I know they're kind of hard to see, but dude, These are great for exercise. I think these are one of the best exercise things in the world because I have very limited space. Most of my shit's packed up, but I haven't packed up these. And you just sit there and you can do isometric exercises, even to build up just simple things like that. And they really do work. So.
Court for 1999 said to help you
Thank you,
winky
Court.
face.
Thank you. That does
And
help.
sometimes one of the things that we like to do on this channel, on Steve's channel in particular, is rum and coke nights.
Mm-hmm.
Rum and coke nights are just like, we're just gonna chill out, we're gonna relax, we're just gonna talk about whatever, we're gonna drink and have a good time together. And nobody's obligated to drink, nobody gets bullied into drinking. There's no toxicity around it. There's been nights where I've been on, I never drank.
I just smell your shirt bicep. I really can't because I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, but I got
What are you doing?
trust me, it's there. It's there, buddy.
Okay.
Steve
says just to trust him. What a cult leader.
That's funny. I actually was.
I can't show my bicep.
I actually was
buried
one of the best,
underneath us.
No, straight up. I'm going to promote myself. I was one of the best arm wrestling champions on my ship. I mean, there's a few guys that beat me. There's some big guys. But for my weight class,
didn't happen.
well, how can I prove that? But whatever. Come on. You know what? I'll tell you what. I can't prove that, but I can show you a high school picture of me where I was ripped as shit. I had muscles upon muscles upon muscles. I was ripped. I was working out all the freaking time in my teens. Did you never see that picture of me in the toga? Where I had back muscle about back muscle. It's almost like morbid.
I think I've seen that picture.
Yeah, I mean, because I wasn't on any kind of steroids, but I would go to the gym all the time. Plus, I was an avid swimmer, so I was just rippled with muscle. But it's so small a picture, it's hard to see. I've showed you. Have I showed people that picture before live? I think I have.
Maybe.
Who has seen my picture where I was back in high school, my senior year, where I was ripped to shit?
One in the chat if you've seen this picture of Steve. 2 in the chat if you haven't seen this picture of Steve.
3 lie and say you have that I'm making it up. So
Oh, 3 is fake news.
Fake news.
All right. So, so Healers, we got 2 other callers. So you want to wrap?
Uncovering Hypocrisy says no. It's okay, Steve. I wasn't listening to Chesh before you cut her off and started talking about bands.
I'll just finish up with one last little bit.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Watching the recent Jimmy stuff where he talks about his recent diagnosis and finding out that he's autistic, or at least somewhere on that spectrum. I had that same thing happen to me. I just found out that I have Asperger's. But one of the things that occurred to me is it's nice to know why I behave the way I do or have the little tics of my personality, but it doesn't change anything. Finding out you have something doesn't magically change what it is. It just lets you know why you act the way
and maybe
you
how
do.
to deal with it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It should help you moderate it. Should help you be like, oh wait, this is from this. I need to watch myself from doing that.
So Helios, I've got a question real quick, because I think this is the reason why people seem to think Jimmy is using his autism as a shield. Do you think he's using his autism as a shield, though?
I didn't think. I think he later on did.
I'm asking Helios. Shut up, Steve.
He was quiet.
He's using it as an excuse for his previous actions. Like, oh, you can't blame me for that. I'm autistic.
Yeah. So yeah, you're using it. You think he's using it as an excuse?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is an excuse, isn't it, though, Josh?
Yeah, there is. I think that there are different times. I think sometimes he is and sometimes he's not. So I kind of view it as more of like it's a malleable thing. So there are times where no, this is a legitimate explanation, and then there are other times that he's using it as an excuse. So I think it's both.
So to Trisha's point, there's a difference between I did this bad thing because of that, or I didn't realize I was doing something because of that.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
There is a key difference there, and I've seen him do both. I don't know if he's I will say I don't know if he's intentionally doing it, but he is doing it.
I think in some cases, I think he knows. I think there are certain circumstances and certain times where I've seen this get tossed out where I'm like, no, he knows what he's doing. He's not an idiot. but like you can't turn around and be like, oh, poor me, but don't how dare you put this thing out, poor me, but don't try and argue with me right now. I'm the best debater ever. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so I was trying to do something, but I'm having an issue here with my computer. So, who's the next caller? Helix, are you good to go?
Yeah, I was just going to say, have a great day, everyone. See you later.
Thanks for calling, Helios.
Thank you. I was going to make a quip about Steve being super old. That's why he can't ever handle technology.
So someone said maybe they had photographs back then. I'm like, okay, thank you very much.
Was it taken on like one of those Polaroid one shots that you gotta shake around?
I remember Polaroids. Polaroids were cool, man.
I still think they're cool.
Yes.
Is that Mr. Serious that came in here?
I don't think they have film for it.
He
He is, but we have a caller in front of him.
Oh.
Yep.
Hello. Who's that? Who dis?
Would this be me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
Oh, hey, it's Rodent. No last name.
Oh, hey, how's it going, Rodent?
Hey, Rodent.
Yeah. I got a one quick question and one quick comment. I'm a little pressed for time. How the hell did I get tagged in that absolute septic tank of a Twitter thread?
I didn't know that you
You're
were.
talking about the one with Estella, aren't you?
Oh my God!
What's going on with that? Talk about it. Real quick, 'cause I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know how you got tagged in that. I have no idea. But I want to let Rodent go because he said he's pressed. So.
Yeah, and this leads into my comment because these people, from my observation, are delusional or deranged or lying or all three.
That's a given. Yes.
I think, yeah.
And I literally saw someone say something about a stream that I watched that they said the exact opposite of what happened there. I posted, you're either lying or you're projecting. And funny enough, in about 4 hours, guess what phrase they started using?
Projection?
Yeah.
Oh, big surprise.
Gasp.
Oh my God.
Clutch the pearls. Oh my God.
I think that there are people who are tentative about using words like delusional or deranged, but, and I am throwing a button there. This is a situation where people are actually hearing words that are not being said and continuously spouting this as if this is a fact, even though somebody will take the clip and show them exactly what was said and say, it doesn't say this, and they still insist and go around saying that these words are said because that's what they've heard. And so when you're using words like deranged and delusional, you don't mean that they're having like hallucinations, or the medical term, you mean that they can be presented with direct, this is what was said, and they will insist that whatever they think they heard the first time is what they heard.
Correct.
It's a denial of reality, I think, is what you're describing.
Yeah, and it's not just people that are willfully doing that. There are people that are just doing it, but their brains think that way. Their brains are making them do that way. Those are the people that scare me the most. The people that are willfully doing it, look, they're just trolls and pieces of shit, right? I mean, but there are people out there that just are either A, functionally illiterate, or B, are having delusions where they're seeing things in there that do not exist.
I literally think that some of this is beyond just cognitive dissonance.
Oh, absolutely. Way beyond it. Way beyond it.
There's a lot of that,
reality denial.
Oh, clearly it's way beyond.
I would agree with that, yep.
That was all I had to say. Let me get out of the way. I got to go do some stuff.
Okay.
Thanks.
Oh. All right. I think
so do you want me to explain the
please.
The thread?
Yeah, because I didn't know what you were talking about.
So basically there was somebody that came in on some account spouting that the usual you guys were questioning Katie Joy's sexual assault or whatever, and nobody did that. That didn't happen. And turns out that the account was Estella, which is a lady who from however long ago flipped her shit because Steve told her that 0.99 repeating equaled 1, and that she said that she could prove that 1 + 1 didn't always equal 2. And so everybody said, all right, show it. And this was a thread full of people who do math for a living. And she said, I can do this. And everybody said, okay, prove it. And then she started rambling about people harassing her.
Yeah, and then she came back on the scene saying that she had messages from me that she never had. Unirock ran with that because, of course,
Stella is suspended. She's on alternate accounts. She's come in on 2 alternate accounts now.
Yep, and by the way, for those who don't know, she was part of a group with Mark Pellegrino, who was doing the cyberbullying project, the Guardian project, and he used to stand up for her. I talked to Mark quite frequently about her and some other things, and he is well aware that she's a nutter now. He has excised her from his circles, wants nothing to do with her, and has told me
that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable about talking with him.
He's DM'd me and said, "Look, Steve, that's her alt." So he lets me know when it's alt of hers. He knows.
When that first went down, I was like a little bit tentative about talking to Mark anymore because I'm like, I don't like the direction this is going.
Yeah, how does he not have the skill set to recognize that Estella is an absolute delusional nutter? Yeah.
Well, yeah, it sounds like he did. He just had his own way of dealing with it that I was just unaware of. But if that's the case, I mean, I trust Steve enough to say that. I mean, yeah, I'd be comfortable around Mark again.
Yeah, cool. All right. I think we got Mr. Serious on the line.
We can't hear you.
He needs to unmute, but yeah,
I didn't do it, Mr. Serious. This is on you. Can you hear? Come back to us, Mr. Serious. Where are you? I miss you.
Muted. There he goes. Oh,
there I go. I'm muted. I'm not muted anymore. All right, yay! I'm Mr. Serious. It's me.
Hey, people say Mr. Serious. You're other boy because Cheshire's your boy, so you're the other boy.
Oh yeah, I'm your other boy. I'm the other boy.
What do you got for us, my friend?
The side kid.
Yeah, I'm the side kid. You guys are talking about like my favorite subject ever, and then I missed like an hour of it because I can't tell time anymore. I'm dealing with some mental stuff myself. I love talking about this kind of stuff. I'm totally okay talking about my issues, my journey, because I want to be like an example. Like if somebody else is having issues, I want to be able to relate to people. If somebody else is out there having issues, I want to, you know what I mean.
You want to help people in your own way. But if your story can help people, you'll share it and see if you can help somebody with it. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Okay. I take topiramate for my fibromyalgia, and I've recently been put on a quadruple dose of it, and what it does is it slows down a nerve transmission in order to reduce pain because my nerves are overly sensitive. And what also that does is it slows down your brain. So I've gotten really stupid, and that's why I can't tell time today. I've gotten really stupid.
How much of it do you take?
250 milligrams
250
a day.
milligrams? All right, so Unirock probably takes 2 billion milligrams of it.
Oh,
that would explain it. Explains it.
It doesn't sound like...
It's a reasonable theory here.
To give you credit, Mr. Serious, though, it sounds like it's not that you're not intelligent. It just sounds like you're like a slowpoke.
Yeah, and we all get brain fog. I mean, we've all
like
been in states
Pokemon.
where... Look, I mean, I get up in the morning. That's not the best time for me. I go on Twitter and I check my messages when I get up and things of that nature. And people know when I'm not quite having full, firing on all 6 cylinders, okay? Because they'll be like, Steve, you didn't read that tweet right or something. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. I haven't had my coffee yet. Leave me alone. But yes, we all get there.
The bonuses are that my pain has been reduced to not much. My knees still hurt when I move. My back hurts a lot. My right hand still hurts, but I used to feel like I had acid flowing through my veins. Ooh. For months. It was awful.
Yeah, that's awful.
But now I don't feel that anymore at all. But I'm really super slow.
You drink a lot of whiskey, you can get that flowing through your veins and kind of numbs things.
I wish I could drink. But I have other medications I'm taking that makes that impossible. So that's all no fun. No fun for me. But at the same time, there's so much like about being able to talk about these kind of things, and I really feel for that. Like, I really wish all this stuff was out in the open. People should be able to be open about these kind of things. Like me just now. Like, people shouldn't clam up about it. Just be open about it. It's okay. Like,
if they want to, right?
Well,
I mean, nobody has an obligation to. And
it's not even that. What he's saying, he's like, he wishes that people were more comfortable to do so.
Sure, yes.
But the reason why people aren't comfortable is because people take advantage of that, and they will mock you and stigmatize you and treat you like shit, or use it as a weapon against you in other conversations. I mean, we've seen this before.
Mm-hmm. But that says more about them than it does the person who.
Oh no, absolutely.
Clearly,
but
right?
what it displays is that these people try to attack people's mental well-being and mental health, and shame them for doing something about their mental well-being and their mental health.
I agree.
We're sitting in the chat right now. People are trying to shame us for having this conversation.
As far as I'm concerned,
I had a tab out, so I'm not looking at the chat. So sorry, guys.
That's fine. Go ahead, Mr. Sears.
As far as I'm concerned, people who might be like wanting to say something mean to me on Twitter, they might be listening to this right now, and they may say something mean to me about this on Twitter later. And those messages are going to be so awesome, because I'm going to have like apps. They're going to like give me something I'm going to want to put on the wall, just of how much of an absolute piece of garbage they are. And then everybody who hangs out with them, I'm going to have proof. Like, this is you,
right?
And that's great for other people to look in. The people that you know are getting that proof for, they don't care. I mean, that whole group, they don't care. They are a toxic troll community. They go out of their way to try to harm people. They've done it for years. So they're not looking for any kind of truth or anything like that.
Yeah, this one will act like a paragon of virtue and pretend they're a paragon of virtue over here, while their friend over here, it's like a good cop, bad cop. They've got like, this one of their friends is going off being a horrible person here, and then they're saying that, oh, well, you're such a horrible person for defending yourself against this person, so that way they can double team you. And if you say, well, your friend over here, and they'll just be like, well, I never said that. It's like, no, you are encouraging this person, you're assisting this person. It just is not blatantly obvious of you saying, oh yes, no, I agree with you, ha 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 ha.
Yeah,
yep.
I mean, I'd want to see in writing how you're against this person saying this. I want you to say it now.
Well, that's something
that person right now saying you're against them.
Well, that's one of the things that I've seen. It had to do with negative exponents and Manya, because negative exponents was making like some I don't think it'd be ableist. So some comments about her drinking, and she's like, dude, that's not cool. And then he went and apologized to her in DMs while kind of still doing it in public. There's screenshots and everything.
Why would
because he's a creep.
That's
he's
creepy.
A super creep in DMs. I don't know. And then
bizarre.
When his friend that he supports goes around doing that thing, he sends a message to Manya. When Manya retweets it and says this isn't cool, negative exponents will send a message to Manya, not in DMs, but will respond to Manya publicly saying, yeah, that's not cool, but won't do anything to stop his friend or call his friend out. It's like, no, you don't need to go to Manya, you need to go to your friend who actually wants to talk to you and say, hey, cut your shit, because that's what friends do for each other.
Yeah. I got to tell you that MS Menace to Sobriety, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Oh, that guy.
That guy has got to be officially, and this is a record. Has to be it's hard to say what the dumbest, but absolutely one of the dumbest people I've ever ran into in my entire freaking life. There's nothing about him that was remotely has any semblance of intelligence of any kind whatsoever. He gets everything wrong. Like, everything is he misunderstands everything, and this goes back to delusional things. This is more than cognitive dissonance. This is more than willful, negligence or misunderstanding or LARPing. Even I don't think he's LARPing. I think he is that stupid, and he is having these delusions. He's seeing things that just are not there.
Well, people don't make the mistake that Menace to Sobriety makes. He is really like comfortable with his friends, and he just wants to hang out with his friends, and that's his thing. We don't, and there's a lot of people that are in that situation. I saw a video a few days ago about a council member of some state or some city in Alabama or something, and he had said something very racist to one of the only black woman who was sitting on the council, and she got so upset she left the room crying. And he said it was like, he's all like, "Oh, it was just a joke" or whatever. But nobody in the room seemed to say anything to him. Like they all just kind of stood
Right.
there.
That's
and watched.
bullshit. Yeah.
And
It's like the same as what happened with Team Skeptic. A lot of people in that room just sat there.
but I couldn't have stopped myself from saying something. Like I wanted to just jump through the screen and say something. Like I couldn't have stopped myself.
You know,
And that's because I am very self-conscious about what kind of world do I want to live in. I don't care if I'm in a room with my friends. I don't want to protect this bubble of me and my friends. I want to be called out if I'm stepping out of line. That's the world I want to live in. I want to make sure that I'm being okay and making everybody like, I want to make sure that I'm not stepping on everybody's toes accidentally. People should be able to tell me if I am, and I want to know that I'm not being an ass. I want to know.
Yeah.
Well, dude, if you said some blatantly racist stuff, I guarantee you we're going to let you know, and I expect you to do the same.
One of the things that I think Mr. Sirius said on Twitter once, which I was very well said, was, "Why are you protecting Steve?" Because they weren't showing whatever it is that they said they had. And so Mr. Sirius went, "Well, why are you protecting Steve? He's so awful, and he's such a bad guy, and he's saying all this awful stuff. Show it so that way we can stop supporting Steve, because he's so bad. Why are you protecting Steve?" And there's another thing to be said for, sometimes people get flabbergasted. Sometimes somebody will say something and everybody will just be like, sometimes silence is deafening in both ways, and that can go in both directions. Sometimes the silence is deafening in that I can't believe you.
Or you're so shocked you don't know how to respond. Yeah.
Or you're so and everybody in the room is like, because sometimes when that happens, what's important is if you get flabbergasted, what's really, really important is how you handle it once you've come back to yourself. Yep. Because that is crucial. Because if somebody flabbergasts you on a stream and says something and it doesn't end up getting addressed because you were just so shocked, it's very important that you then publicly say something, because you were just on this public stream and you said nothing. And so you need to address that. And this is something as a creator that you need to do, right? Helios for 5 says, "It's amusing how the troll cult seems to constantly forget that people can read their tweet history and get confused when people call them on their bullshit."
Yep.
What?
The internet is forever.
The internet is forever. Right? Yeah, and you know, people that know me, when it's like on the Non Sequitur show, when people said something that was just shocking when it comes to science or philosophy, you know, I'll jump on it, kind of stuff like that. It's not like it's like
there are times where you have to like take a second and be like,
right. But yeah, you have to go, wait a minute, did they really just wait, what? You have to think about it and ponder. But there are other times where things have happened, shock value, like literally have shock value, that just I just have dead silence. My brain, I stop, personally. And so those things, you know, are very difficult for me, because I think to myself, is this really happening? Is this, you know, whenever you have like things in your life that occur, and for example, we've all been in a state of fear, right? You know, we've all had close calls. Many of us would probably be dead by now, many times over. Sometimes in those cases, I'm serious, everybody in their life probably has a close call with death, and I've had more than my share. I've done stupid shit like text in the rain, going through mountains on Highway 74 in fog. Not a good idea, right? So when you have something that has happened, like for example, I remember when I was driving with my dad once, we were going to Temecula from Indio, and he was driving, and for some reason he overcorrected, and I don't know if you know anything about 74 highway, but it is like up in the hills. Many people have died off there. because it's very sharp, it's very curvy, and we were going to go right off that cliff, right off the cliff. Luckily, there's a guardrail there, and the guardrail stopped us. But I was in dead silence, like no emotion. Right? I mean, we should have died that day. And so, people handle these things very differently. When they're so shocked at something that their minds cannot comprehend has happened, I shut down. But when it comes to like the non sequitur stuff, those are not something that was fear. It was more of like, did this person really just say this? But if they had said something that was...
You're flabbergasted, yeah.
Yeah, if they said something that was extremely overtly racist or something like that, then sometimes you might go...
Dude.
And don't know how to respond to it because did this person really say this?
And it comes out of nowhere, and they say it so confidently and with such like, oh, this is this isn't a problem thing to say, and it's like, when I was watching Jimmy's first video, I was shocked that as surprised as I get, but I was like. When he said that he had people look at his video and approve it before putting it out, I was like, what did you just say?
Make sure it was content friendly and cleaned, sanitized.
Who are your friends that you had looked at this and they said, this is great.
Do it.
Stamp of approval.
Yeah, I got no
I need to know who these people are.
I have no problem with people looking things over. I don't, but it's like when people are like enable Kyle, those aren't his friends. I mean, there's people who don't give a shit about Kyle. I mean, Kyle's going to prison because these people.
Over and thought this was going to be a good idea, right?
Yeah.
You need to get new people. Fire whoever that was.
Get a new team because.
You need to start making some business decisions.
I didn't watch his apology video. I saw parts of on Fat Sajak, I think it was, and some.
Which one? What
the last one, like
video?
like a couple days ago.
Oh, okay.
But the one before that was horrific. The one that Pat Sajak did, the original one, oh my god. Yeah. What the hell was that? It was bizarre. But he did. I guess he did another one that wasn't as bad, but people are still going. You're still missing the point here.
No, it's still bad. It's just bad in a different way.
It's an over an hour video. I'm not. I can't listen to that fuckwad. I can't. He's insufferable.
I think that it's good that people can be so shocked by hearing racist things, which means that like they don't hear it normally, so they would only hear it like very rarely, and that's good. But being a kid being a person who remembers as a child hearing around the dinner table like jokes that now I realize are extremely racist, but back then I had no idea. Then somebody, when they're older, trying out their racist humor and in a crowd, thinking that they're going to get the same jokes they got at the dinner table. I think that maybe we should, if we were to better prepare ourselves, maybe we could make a difference out there. Maybe we could stop something, like maybe we could be the Batman or something.
If somebody responds to there's a couple of different ways to respond to somebody saying something like in Congress, and then there's them saying, oh, it was just a joke, is to respond with, it wasn't funny, or how was that a joke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Put them in the hot seat immediately.
FYI, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess Katie's been on a tirade lately today. Did you read what I just sent you? I'm like, holy shit! I just tagged you on my Twitter. Well,
okay.
This doesn't do with me, but she says.
You want me to read this right now?
Weird. And there's another one too.
This is a public request. Public is all okay. I'm gonna if I say a word like that, it means it's capitalized. This is a public request for people who have evidence related to the conspiracy to harm my business, frame my husband for child sexual abuse, have my son taken from us, and those who have sent us death threats to please reach out to me. You will be kept confidential. Oh yeah, everybody's gonna believe that.
That is a fake laugh. Okay, people know my real laugh. All my laughs are real. That was a fake laugh, clearly. But holy shit,
We are in the process of working on restraining orders for multiple people involved, but if you have any information that can help us with criminal prosecution of these people, we are taking all relative tips and information. Okay, hold on. I know
There's
the best.
so much to address there.
I've got the best thing to send Katie for this. I know the best thing to send Katie for this to get her on the same page and get her taken care of. Please, the answer is links to your own channels.
Yeah. Let me ask this, and then you can do super chat. But let me ask this: when the hell has she ever kept anything confidential? You said something to her, expect to be made public. That to me is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life. To say, "Oh, it'll be kept confidential." No, it won't. There's no chance in hell it'll be kept confidential.
The best evidence of people who are conspiring to harm her business is her own channel. Yeah. Katie debunks Katie. Nobody needs to do anything.
Read the super chat.
Darth Myself for 10 said, I once tried to call Steve out on something. I failed because he showed I was wrong. I wasn't butthurt, nor did Steve hold a grudge for disagreeing with him for a while, and we're still on good terms.
Actually, I have a 5-year vendetta against him.
Oh, what year are you at?
I think it just started. Yeah, so we got a long ways to go.
So it's the next 5 years.
So there's another one here, and it's funny because apparently I don't know if she cut off this Astronomy Live's picture because it's just an image from one of his tweets, but I know it's from him, but it's cut off. And she says this, and so this is obviously to Astronomy Live. So ready for this, Astronomy Live, because I know you're listening. Quote. Please tell this man that botting my Twitter to catalog every deleted tweet I make so he can help someone who has led a targeted harassment campaign against me is enabling abuse with the peace symbol. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
So every time something like this happens, Katie has a habit of deleting her Twitter and everything, or deleting tweets that she might think is incriminating later. Like she got in trouble for this when she got sued by Toddy. When she got sued, she immediately started deleting things when there was a cease and desist to not delete anything. So making sure that you can't manipulate the system is viewed as harassment to her, I guess.
Wow.
It is so beyond bizarre. I can't even begin to describe.
I think it'd be funny if so there are Twitter bots out there that exist that post things. I don't want to say post things, but like post, it's so vague. That like an hour and you put in what you want it to tweet, right? So they're like a lot of the the news, the police office, they'll have bots that post out information like weather warnings and stuff like that. You could totally write a Twitter bot and make sure you just make it labeled as a bot and say Katie's deleted tweets, and then just make a bot to post her deleted tweet every time she deletes something. If you wanted to, and that wouldn't be harassment. That's not what harassment is.
I'm just mind-boggled by this. That you
could do it to me if you really wanted to.
By the way, fun fact: for a while there, he ran out of API room or whatever. I don't know the technical details, but he actually was monitoring my channel for a while for deleted comments. I asked him to. I was like, go for it.
The Discord there. That was a public Discord. Everybody could go look at it.
I didn't care.
The only one who has access to do anything in there is nobody. Anybody? I don't know.
I haven't checked it out in a very long time. So, but yeah, so that just shows her victimization narrative, right? So that's not targeted harassment. That was somebody was saying, "Hey, look, we want to see a person who actively in real time, which we know has happened." Well, I didn't want to. I didn't ask him to do it. Somebody else asked him, and he wanted to see if he could do it. But I kind of said, "You can do this for Twitter," and he's like, "Yeah, blah 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 blah." And now it's like, "Oh, Steve ordered him," and I'm like, "Okay, no, I wasn't even the one that brought it up to him initially. It was somebody else."
I don't know.
There's always a lot going on with stuff like that, but like again, like this can't be good for anybody's.
Oh, somebody said
mental
that Discord
health,
channel is no
right?
longer active. I mean, it's no longer there. Or it's just no longer active. Like people are there.
I'm pretty sure it's
'Cause
still there.
I haven't checked it out in a very, very long time.
It's not a very active channel. It's not supposed to be a very active channel. Hold on, let me go look.
Yeah, but you mean like active, like doesn't have much activity, or like it is that they're there any longer? Like
No, it's still there.
Oh, still
I'm
there,
looking
okay.
at it right now.
The mid topic of the stream, you guys were talking about Jimmy before,
And true.
and you were talking about like victimization. I think he was not that he was victim blaming or anything like that, but he was using like ADHD as a shield, and
Autism.
when people do that, I think it destroys conversation with when people actually do have ADHD, because it kind of makes a little bit of a schism out there. When people say something like, "Oh, I have ADHD," they might think back to his Jimmy's speech, and they might be thinking that, "Oh, you're trying to use it as a shield because I saw Jimmy do it. Now you're doing it," and like it hurts the community of people who have ADHD when Jimmy does things like that.
Yeah, stuff like that shuts down every kind of conversation and any healthy kind of conversation when you're being toxic and dishonest. A good example is it was actually autism that Jimmy was using, but the
Oh, I'm sorry.
an example might be that, oh hey, that means autistic people are like Jimmy. Or you could run something along the lines of, oh, okay, well, this is my experience of somebody doing this with autism, so I have to be very, very cautious or tentative with anybody who has autism because they might do this or they might go this way. So I have to be very, very. You start infantilizing people with autism and start treating them poorly or treating them like they're invalids because your experience is this one person behaving in this one way, and you want to do your best to protect yourself and to avoid those kinds of situations. Now, these are not healthy. These are not good ways to do these things. But what are people supposed to do? Why would you want to talk to somebody who's a victim of sexual harassment if they are going to throw it back in your face that you were nice to them anytime you disagree with them, right? If they're going to behave like KJ.
Oh yeah, I have no idea. I mean, these people, like, they ruin it. It's so I don't understand how people don't see it. Like, they make the world such a harder place for actual. I don't want to say actual. They make the world such a harder place for victims.
Yeah, victims and people
Definitely.
with mental illness or mental disabilities or physical disabilities. Because I mean, there was somebody going at you, calling you wheels as an ableist term, saying you were in a wheelchair when you're not even in a wheelchair.
That's not the worst thing he said, but
Yeah, I'm just an example. So, but this ableist language is okay to them and their friends for him to do it. Right. This is the conversation I had with Gary for 6 hours.
The circular one that could have been over in 45 minutes.
I needed to make a point.
Yeah. All right, so we got to start wrapping this up a little bit. So I'm going to ask the audience if they want to see this photo. I found this photo from my high school. I was lean as shit. I was a skinny kid, but I was ripped as shit. I think I was. You guys can disagree. You guys go, oh, that looks pathetic. But I think you can tell that I worked out a lot. You guys want to see it, or will it forever haunt you and blind you? Put 1 if you want to see it, 2 if you don't want to see it, and 3 if you don't care. Either way, I'm going to probably show it, but I just want to know what you guys think. I think Cheshire's seen this before. So 1 if you want to see it, 2 you don't, 3 you don't care. But I'm going to show it anyways.
I think before we get out of here, while we're waiting for the chat, we should all say what our favorite way to like unplug and just what's the thing that you like to do? What's your, like, I don't want to call it a guilty pleasure, but what's the thing that you do when you're like, hey, listen, I'm in a bad mood and I want to pick myself up from being in this bad mood and I'm taking my day to myself and the world fucks off. What's the thing that you do when you're fucking off from the world?
Mr. Sirius, you can answer that question first.
I mean, I've been, the one thing that I found that is really relaxing to me is that I've picked up, and Chesh probably can understand this because I've been kind of showing interest in it, even in our chat. So our very few chats that we've had. I've been playing Final Fantasy 14. You can play it with a controller, and I have a very lightweight controller, and therefore I can actually do it with my hands. And it's good. I don't have to use a mouse and keyboard because that actually hurts my hands to try to do. It's fun, and I enjoy it. And plus, it's the people who make the game are not sexual predators like Blizzard.
God, that's a whole nother conversation.
I have a couple different things. I used to try to do games. I haven't really played much games lately. I started doing again, flight simulator stuff, but I haven't really been done that lately. So the game stopped working for me. I was getting into a game called Destiny 2, I think it was. But I mean, I stopped. The next season I stopped. So what I do now to unplug, one of two things. I just lay down, put my laptop on, and I watch some mindless TV. I've been watching Botched lately. I don't know why I like that show. I think it's amazing what they can do for plastic surgery. I especially when people have gotten the help they need. I find it reassuring. Maybe that's one of the reasons I've been watching shows that are more uplifting, right? Positive stuff to show that humanity isn't all shitlords and trolls, gang stalkers, and people that just want to harm people. The other thing is I have a comfy chair out here that basically I have these earplugs, right? I mean, these little green foam earplugs. They're not the best I've ever gotten. I don't get these; they suck. But I will sit in that chair. I have my earplugs, and I'm glad you asked this question because I literally have this stuff here. I have a blindfold, right? I'll put in my earplugs. I'll put my blindfold in, and I'll just sit in that comfy chair, and I'll just try to let my mind drift away. That's the greatest way to unplug. I'll shut down everything in my room. And Chess knows this. When I say that I'm shutting down, I'm not just using that figuratively. I'm turning off my computers. I'm turning off the internet. I turn off my cell phone. I turn off my tablet. There's no way to really reach me. This is actually true. And then I go sit in that comfy chair and I do exactly what I just told you. It works, or it helps. I mean, I'm not gonna say it always works, but it helps. But I do have Elite Dangerous.
Brandon, what about you? What do you do?
Well, basically video games, same thing. I just play video games. Yeah, if I want to tune out and stuff, I can immerse myself in a video game and just just tune out for a while.
Yeah, video games are great for something. I mean, look, I'm all for that. It's just
escapism.
I lost. I don't know. It worked for a while. It's like any other thing, right? It works for a while, but then it just stops. Even like a medication.
I have a couple of different things that I rotate between. I have when I get cravings, where I'm just like, oh, I just need a snack. I have a very specific McDonald's meal that I get because I trained myself from a young age to be like, if I'm having cravings, I eat this one meal. So now I can just go to that one meal and don't have to search around to be like, what does my body want?
Oh my God.
Just shut it down.
A double or a Big Mac meal sometimes. Yes.
Do you want to know what the meal is?
No, as long as it's not a fish fillet. Don't get a fish fillet.
It's not, no. No, it's a Big Mac meal with fries, a 10-piece chicken nugget with, it has to be, the
ranch.
What's the, sweet and sour sauce. Sweet and sour sauce. Anything other than sweet and sour sauce is sacrilege. And a strawberry milkshake.
Nice.
But one of the other things I used to do when I was just feeling grumpy and sort of just not in a good place is I would watch Ouran High School Host Club because that show is just silly and who cares? And it just doesn't, it's just fluff. It's just popcorn.
Yeah.
I do play games sometimes as a chill thing, but if I'm in a more of a mood where I'm I get to yell at things and I don't have to worry about how other people are going to react to me yelling at things, I'll play League of Legends. I'm I just got some salt in my system and I need to go and get the salt out of my system. That's where I go.
She's salty.
But if I'm having I just want to hang out with people sort of day and I just want to get away, I'll go into my Discord, which people can join if they want. And I'll watch videos of people fucking hating on me and ripping me apart because that shit's hilarious. It's just popcorn to me. I'm just feed me your tears.
I do recommend the next time you go to McDonald's, ask to get the fries well done. One, they make them fresh, and two, I think they're better tasting. Well done. Have you tried
yeah,
those?
I'll try that.
Yeah, they may
The
because
other
they have,
thing
cause they,
that I'll
they have to
get-
make them fresh for you. And I think the well done fries are so much better. But I prefer a Whopper over a Big Mac or McDouble.
One of the things that I absolutely, maybe it's just BK in Canada, it's just
Whoppers.
not that great. I only get McDonald's on their like specific occasions because if I'm going for like regular fast food, I'll get Wendy's or A&W because Wendy's and A&W
good.
over here are way better.
Yeah, Wendy's is better hamburgers.
It's
Yes.
good.
But the one other thing that I'll do is I love karaoke. Karaoke is just a romping good time. So I'll just go to the bar, get poutine, drink rum and cokes, and do karaoke. And it's just so much fun. So much fun. If there ever is a time where we finally get to do our non-cult, non-con, I want a karaoke room.
We'll figure that out.
Doing it. We're doing it. If you're ever hanging out with me, if we're doing a get together or hangout and people from the shows are going to come and hang out with me, we're going to a bar and we're doing karaoke.
I'm not
It's
singing. I'll
happening.
go, but I'm not singing.
Oh, yes, you are.
No,
You don't get to say no if you go. No,
you don't have consent, Chesh.
No, you're giving by going to the bar with me where there is karaoke. You are giving consent to sing. That's how that works.
Oh, I'm not saying I've never done it.
There
used to be a bar I used to go to frequently, and one of the songs I used to do was "Devil Went Down to Georgia."
I will bully Steve into going to sing.
See how I'm treated?
If anybody's ever going to call me for bullying, I will bully Steve into going to sing at karaoke.
I can't sing, but I just happen to like that song.
Everybody's got their thing. You guys should leave in the comments the things that you guys like to do as your like getaway. What do you do? Do you do puzzles?
Make sure they're
like
legal things.
Books?
Don't do
I
illegal
like to read like at night. I'll sit down and I'll read like really bad romance things. It's just trash. It's like, I love it. Does
Steve,
Chesh live with her mother? Serious question, just because of a recent tweet I saw. Ask them how they know where I live.
hey, Chesh, that was a question for me. It was a serious question.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know where Chesh lives. Why are you asking me? It's weird.
Yeah, stop stalking her. Somebody asked me, why do I think people support Cage if she's problematic and triggered them as a person? I couldn't answer that question.
Damn it.
Why do people support Alex Jones? Why do people support what's that piece of shit racist that guy that just lost his Twitter recently? The white supremacist idiot.
Nick Fuentes?
Nick Fuentes, yeah. Why do people support him? I mean, I don't know why people... I have no idea why certain people support certain people. I don't understand. I think a lot of people are emotionally manipulated. People think a lot of people don't know the histories. And then there's people that just are not good people. That's it.
I get a bit of a giggle out of people saying I live in my mom's basement because I wish I lived in my mom's basement. The basement of my mom's house is a full 2-bedroom apartment with like a fireplace. I would love to live there.
Wow.
Helios 575 for $2 says money to support bullying Steve into singing. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's gonna go to a beer if we ever can't all get together for none cult none con.
Oh,
not non-cult, non-con.
This is
You can't. You're almost saying cunt.
I'm not non-con. None. God damn it! Fuck. Shut up. Hang on. Non-con. No. God damn it. Non-cult. None-con. Is that what you want to call it?
No. Non-cult, non-con.
Oh, that's right. Non-cult. Non-con.
You got it.
Yay!
Nobody who's a con artist will be allowed. There's non-con.
this
Nobody
is
not
the
allowed.
deal.
with a felony unless it's get a waiver.
Either
Definitely a tile out.
Either Steve will willingly do karaoke, or we'll choose his song for him.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is why I'm never gonna hang out with you guys.
This is happening.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for calling in. This was a fun show. I'm glad. I think that again. Let me reiterate. Nobody's giving any kind of advice when it comes to mental illness and how to deal with it. It's like that. This is all common sense stuff.
If you have mental illness, you need to go to a doctor. Katie, mental health and having a mental illness are not the same thing.
Not at all.
and discussing what
but
you
not,
do
but,
as
but
a
not,
as
but not
a
taking care of your mental health
normative
can
or a
lead to mental
non-normative.
illness.
Well, yeah, and of course, and if what people decide to do and talk about for their coping mechanisms and whatever help they're getting, whether they're normative or non-normative, or if you have a physical illness that is causing mental strain for different reasons, these are all things that everybody has every right to speak on, because everybody experiences and has their own life experiences that I think it's only fair to we listen to everybody.
I agree.
Katie Daisy tweeted out, I just want to bring this up as we close, is there are community leaders going behind my back and threatening people's jobs who enforce my recommendations. There is leadership in the department reprimanding employees for wearing PPE while testing COVID patients because it's making people uncomfortable. Science is not political.
That's how do you even address something that people are doing that? How do you even bizarre? All right, guys. Good night.
Wait, before you guys close,
go ahead.
Just to add to what Chesh was saying, you don't have to have you don't have to think that you have problems to go and seek any kind of mental health treatment. If you want to get yourself a checkup, go get yourself any kind of checkup. If you have issues or you think that even if you don't think you have anything wrong with you, just go get yourself checked up.
I will tell people I have a
mental health
medical
checkup should be just as common as a regular checkup.
I have a medical
in my
appointment. People know, hey, look, I got VA, man. But I'm taking care of myself. I have a medical appointment in 4 days, which I don't think is anything serious. But you know what? Better safe than sorry, right? Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
your brain is important. Get a checkup.
I'm going to leave you guys with a trigger warning. The outside chat. You have to watch on the outside here, Chesh, but I'm going to leave it with a trigger warning because I'm going to show a picture of me in high school. Ready for this? You're probably never going to burn this out of your brain, but I think I was in pretty good shape. I think though. You can tell I worked out. Ready for this? Sorry, guys.
Discussion about it in the comments.
Yeah, and guarantee this is going to be on so many different videos. People are like, look at Steve. Oh my God, he was skinny. I was a skinny shit, but I was in good shape when I joined the military. And I got to tell you, if you ever want to join the military and you're not in shape, one, you will be in shape by the end of boot camp, but two, it's going to make it a hell of a lot harder because it sucks. So this is the only reason I think I survived boot camp, because I was already in pretty good shape going in. All right, so there you go. Here we go. And this is literally me in high school. I think I was pretty ripped. But you know what? If you don't think so, I don't care. But I worked hard at it. I was always working out, and I swam a lot, and so I was cut. I had a lot of muscle cuttage. Low fat, very low body fat. All right, guys. Good night, and we'll leave it. Jess, you want to have anything you want to say?
Have a good day, everybody. Take care of yourselves. To quote Katie Daisy, no one's going to take care of your mental health like you will. So take care of yourself.
Right.
Thank you for calling.
Yes.